Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. So, we're going to talk about career gaps, okay? And y'all have so much to say on this topic. I don't even know where to start because it really gets me worked up here. Let me share a side note. I attended a women in leadership training. And it was good. It was sponsored by my organization. It was really great. I enjoyed it. It was a couple days. And I got some good book recommendations, got some good homework out of it. Really happy I took it. But one of the things that I also learned in this training was that if something was said, or you were dealing with some kind of, a microaggression or just something, not good behavior, whatever, sit with it for 48 hours. Before you respond, before you react emotionally, before you, go off, as I tend to do, sit with it for 48 hours. If it still bothers you, time to address it. Okay. Took that advice. And it's been 48 hours since I saw a post on LinkedIn that inspired this video. It was about career gaps, as you can imagine. And the line that stuck out to me, and I made my own post about it because I did not trust myself to comment on the original post. The line that stuck out to me was, I got to find it again. Sorry, I had it pulled up. Now I lost it. But it was basically something like, there it is, found it. I'll link to it down below too, in case you guys want to see. So if you're going to take 27 weeks off, that's fine. But be realistic. If you're going to take 27 weeks off, because that's what we're doing here, right? When we're laid off, or when we have to uproot our lives to follow our, spouse or partner's career across the country, or our company goes out of business, or our side hustle fails, or any of the things that happen to us normal people, any of those things, well, if you're going to take that time off, are y'all serious right now? Is this a serious conversation that's actually happening on LinkedIn? What? Many of us have taken time off to the tune of 6 weeks or longer, 6 months or longer, 6 months or longer. Not because we wanted to. That's why this doesn't sit well with me. Okay? If you're someone who just, had disposable income and wanted to just go backpack across, the mountains, good for you. Good for you. You took time off. You did something you wanted to do. I don't care. It is none of my business. If you were laid off and your life was completely uprooted and, your finances fell apart and you lost your home and let alone your job, not good for you, but still an absolutely valid career gap. And both of those things are none of my business. So this week, sorry, I'm getting ranty. I promised I wasn't going to get ranty. I'm going to try to reel it back in. This week, I want to talk about two things. I want to first of all explain why recruiters ask about career gaps. And I also want to give you some ways to answer the question. Because you're going to get it. They're going to ask. None of our business, but here we are, getting all up in your business, trying to understand. The reason is very simple, friends. We ask about career gaps because hiring managers are asking us. Okay? Every question I ask you during a recruiter call is because my job, in part, is to gather information which helps me understand how you are a fit for the role, team, and organization. That may include trying to find the data behind anything that might be perceived as a red flag. Job hopping, whatever that means, could be one of those things. Hey, candidate, so I'm noticing that you've had 6 jobs over the last 3 years. Can you help me understand those moves a little bit? Is there anything you're comfortable sharing with me about what made you leave companies A, B, C, D, and E? This is now an opportunity for you to explain, like, hey, I was laid off, a company went out of business, division was, reduced headcount, I moved, whatever, right? Again, it's none of my business, but I'm just looking for enough data and insight to go, oh yeah, there's no concerns here. Yeah, this person didn't set multiple buildings on fire and got escorted out by police. Cool, we can move forward, right? I mean, hopefully that never happens. Who knows? So that's it. That's all I want to know. I just want to make sure that I am reducing any possible risk of friction or red flags from the hiring manager's perspective. Career gaps are no different. Hey, so I see by your resume you've been, you left your last company in July of 2022. So you've had some time away, right? It's been about 1.5 years now. Is there anything you're comfortable sharing with me about why you left and what you've done in the meantime? And the answer may be, yeah, I was laid off. We were in a pandemic. We were in the middle of a crap economy. Are you familiar with the capitalist hellscape that we're all living in? Just curious. Yeah, okay. Well, I am. So this is now your opportunity to share that. Yeah, I was laid off. I've spent that time doing A, B, and C. That could be active job search. That could be I took the opportunity to move to a different location. That could be I made a decision to stay home with my family, and now forward momentum. So here's how you answer the question. High level, just enough to knock down any red flag. Pivot to the future. Yes, I experienced X. Since then, I've spent my time focusing on A, B, and C. Yes, I took some time for personal reasons that have now been resolved, and I've used this time to focus on moving back into a role where I can accomplish Y. Tell me about any volunteer work you've done. Tell me about any trainings that you've done. Tell me about any just whatever. Again, it doesn't have to be personal. I suggest not making it super personal, but walk me through how you are really well qualified for this role. If we are calling you to ask you these questions, it's because there is interest. Help me justify and strengthen the interest. Because everything that you share with me, within reason, I don't tell hiring managers everything, but what you do share with me that I feel like is going to move you forward with the hiring team, I'm going to share with them. Give me the data, give me the stories, give me the insights, give me the ammunition to convince the hiring manager that you are great. That's what I'm looking for here in this whole gap nonsense, okay? I've been very firm with my hiring leaders, with my recruiters, with anybody and everybody who will listen to me, that gaps are none of our business. We do have the right to understand, are there any potential flags here? We just want to make sure that there aren't. But we also really need to focus on the core skills and abilities that say you're a fit for this role. That is where I want to spend my time. Okay? Final thought. One of the biggest risks in a hiring manager's mind or an organization's mind as they're talking to folks who maybe have had a gap, especially if it's a significant gap. Have your skills gone stale? Just being overly transparent with y'all, okay? I hate it too. But there is a question, well, gosh, if you've not done a thing for a long time, can you still do the thing? What is ramp up going to look like? What is it, what's that transition going to be for you to get back into the thing? Has technology changed significantly? If you were a software engineer 5 years ago, the landscape looks very different now, right? And so what have you done to keep your skills sharp, to use those muscles? And this is where training, this is where side hustles, this is where volunteer work, all those things that you can fill that time with can come into play here. Now, again, I want to add, going back to how we started the discussion, sometimes life happens. Maybe I sat in a dark room for 6 months and couldn't move. It's okay. You don't need to say that, but you can definitely tell me, look, I had to take these 6 months for some personal things that have now been resolved. I'm now ready to get back to, and here's what I'm doing today to be ready. That's okay too. As much as you can, pivot that conversation to forward momentum, what's next, why you're great, and never, ever, ever, ever feel like you owe anyone a deeply detailed explanation. You don't. High-level insights to understand that there's no major concerns. That's enough for me. We're checking that box. We're moving on. Let's talk about why you're a great fit. All right, y'all. I hope that helps. I hope I gave you something of value in this ranty conversation. And recruiters, I'm going to encourage you, put yourself in the job seeker shoes. How would you want to answer this question if it happened to you? We'll see you next week.